Welcome to another episode of the No Promises Podcast with your hosts, Shawn Stepp.
Can you hear my hair growing?
And Geoff Gregory.
Heinrich, run away!
Two fiction fanatics talking about games, movies, and comics, and whatever else pops into the conversation. On with the show.
How you doing, guys? This is podcast number 2. My name is Geoff, and this is Shawn with me today.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about some more stuff. We do want to correct some of the incorrect information we did the last podcast. Most specifically, I thought Shawn was talking about the first Dark Knight issue, whereas he clearly said he was talking about year 1, and I just got confused.
Yeah, and I didn't correct him, so that was my fault. So... we were talking about two different books, same idea, Frank Miller, both involved in both.
Yep, so Frank Miller.
Yeah, so it was just a little bit of miscommunication, but...
Either way, moving right along, we did happen to see Wonder Woman today, so that was a pretty cool experience. How'd you like it, Shawn?
I thought it was actually really good. It actually exceeded what I thought it was going to. I felt, like I said in the previous episode, I wasn't very happy with Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
There was a lot of mess-ups and fuck-ups, but I feel...
Overall, just long moments of nothing happening, whereas Wonder Woman, there were some moments where some stuff was, like, dialogue was mostly at play, but overall, this was a way... step up, like a big step up for DC movies.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. It had a little bit of slow part for a little bit. Like Geoff, when me and him were talking about it earlier, there was a little part that, but it's all backstory. It's explaining too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's explaining as it's going on, which can drag on, but they made the action worth it.
Right.
Really, and. Wonder Woman's a little bit more intense than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah,
especially
she's definitely a badass.
Yeah, especially how it was just like a turning point in her head too. Like, this is what I got to do now, and it was pretty hardcore.
every skill that she picks up with ease and just rolls with it. Mm-hmm. There's that first scene where she's trying to get access to the tower where all her weapons are stored. And, she's doing this secretly, so she's not going in through the front door, but she's trying to make a huge jump across and climb up it. Well, she actually slips, and she's unable to hold on to the ledge that she grabbed, and then she's falling down the tower, and all she does is just dig her fist into the side and, does a little look of bewilderment, and then she just smiles and just climbs to the top, and breaking every piece of block along the way.
Yeah, and I do like how they kind of and I say it all the time, how they humanized her. She was unsure of herself for a minute there, and that's the rock breaking and everything. That shows that. She had fear for a minute, then she just pounds her hand into the wall and starts climbing up, which is pretty badass. And there's one spot, we don't want to give away everything, but we're going to definitely talk about it. But there was a sniper up in a tower, and she... definitely overkill got him, but in a badass way.
Yeah. Every scene that we see her using, the movie takes place in World War I, and she ends up going to the battlefield, and she actually storms through no man's land with the slightest of ease.
Which she had just learned how to block bullets anyways.
Yeah, 2 days prior.
Yeah, and now she's running with machine guns, full blast going. It was nice when she took out that 80 cal or whatever and it flew up next to her. That was pretty boss.
Yeah, she just slapped away a mortar like it was nothing. It was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was, I feel like there was way less plot holes.
I mean, every movie has plot holes, but this one was definitely more solid.
Yeah, more thought about all around, I feel like. And it was a cool character development for a female character especially. Yeah,
it had the care that all the DC movies we've seen, at least within this recent, the more recent years, we've seen, more care. And yeah, like you said, she was I feel that her being a female, it only mattered to the people around her.
Yeah, because it was World War One.
Yeah, it was World War One. So
all
their customs were like a woman was to be seen and not heard, and sometimes not even seen. And like she is the complete opposite of that attitude because she's so sure of herself and her strength. She's just she's confident in herself.
Plus, she's a complete distraction because she's obviously the sexiest chick they could have found to be Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So, like, you didn't see that much chicks looking like that in the World War One era anyways. And they even addressed that a little bit, which is nice that they didn't just ignore it. They addressed that she was gorgeous, and because Wonder Woman's supposed to be, as an Amazon woman, she was tough and gorgeous, you know what I mean?
Definitely crafted by Zeus.
Yeah. And I thought all around it was a pretty badass movie. There's a couple of spots. Of course, another man falls to the fate of the fact that she could have just done it.
Yeah. That's actually it's almost funny in the way because it's like guys are always trying to do stuff for her because women don't do that.
Protected, yeah. And she's like more badass than all of them.
And
so
it's like
funny.
That one scene like Shawn said, he doesn't want to give too much away, and neither do I. But there's definitely a scene that she could have easily taken care of herself.
But she didn't. That was one of my big complaints.
It helped humanize her in a way as well.
Right.
So it wasn't like...
At least they addressed it this time. She said she could do it.
Yeah.
You know, they addressed it this time because I'm sure they heard an earful of it from Batman versus Superman that she could have just done it.
Yeah.
Superman didn't have to die twice.
Well, maybe since this movie's like basically a prequel or an origin story or whatever, maybe that's why she let Superman do it because
she realizes
she's letting people make decisions for themselves and that she can't protect everyone from their decisions.
Right. Which
ties into this movie so much. Now, like, she is all for saving people, but she realizes by the end of it that, like, the choices that we make are our own, and all she's doing is kind of helping us along.
Right, and probably one of the hardest things for a hero to realize is you can't save everyone. And you could see she had a real moral dilemma with that in this movie. The fact that you can't save everyone, and in war it's like that. And I thought it was a good time to introduce a character like Wonder Woman, because she's one of those characters that are uber good and tries to save everyone.
So, can you explain to our listeners what exactly is Wonder Woman's overall goal in this movie? Why is she involved in World War One?
Well, she believes that war is created by Ares, the god of war, because as Amazons they were created to be the gap between humans and gods, basically. Yeah. And they understand way more than we do, but less than the gods. You know, that's how they're kind of placed in like this lineup. And so yeah, Ares is the controller of war in her eyes, and obviously to the American guys and all the guys around the world, they think she is goofy as shit because
they don't believe anything that she's telling them. But they see the power that she has, and they think it's possible that she's right. But overall, they were just like, well, she's super strong. She'll help us out, and like we'll both get what we want.
A huge Joan of Arc thing going on. Yeah. Where she blindly runs in with fate. Faith on her hands, you know what I mean? And everyone's just like, whatever, we're following her because she's got it, you know what I mean? She's got the balls, so we're following her. And it was when she charges into no man's land, that's the first thing I thought of was Joan of Arc style, you know what I mean? Just plowing in.
She basically like raises the banner like, no, we're going through.
Yeah, we're going through. And even though she's told not to, like Joan of Arc was by thousands of people, she did. And, you know, obviously she has superpowers, so it's not that hard for her to do it.
She wasn't too worried about it.
Right. But I thought all around way better improvement. I'm happy with it. It actually, like Jeff said earlier when we were talking about it, made me look forward to Justice League more.
Oh yeah, especially when we got to see that extended trailer before the
Wonder
Woman
even
even started.
Looks badass.
Like I was like, if this movie's as good as I've heard it is, like maybe Justice League will actually be worth the shit.
Yeah. And you gotta love well, what's your superpower? I'm rich.
Yeah.
You gotta love that. It's
whoever wrote that line knew what they were doing, and thank you for it.
Yeah. It seems really cool. You know, obviously they made Aquaman more badass.
Well, it's Jason Momoa, man.
Right. Yeah.
Khal Drogo.
Khal Drogo. Yeah, dude, he's badass anyways. Like, so that's cool because honestly, through time, that's been one of my pet peeves. Is why is Aquaman even there?
Aquaman's so lame.
You know, why is Aquaman even there? Like,
so we're gonna make him this badass Hawaiian dude, and no one's gonna say shit about it on a negative level.
Yeah, and they did like the fish scale tattoos and stuff. And
I noticed that
cool.
too.
It's a lot of detail in on it. They actually thought about that because I mean, besides to fight Manta, why was Aquaman even there? But I guess you got to rule the oceans too, you know what I mean? But even though no one had layers in the oceans really, Legion of Doom had a layer in the swamp.
Yeah, above the water. Maybe he had underneath access.
Yeah, I don't know, but and I'm looking forward if they ever try it again, putting an actual Green Lantern that doesn't suck.
Yeah, another thing. Right before the movie even started, they had this little vignette for DC movies, and like you see everybody that's gonna be in the Justice League movie except Green Lantern.
Yeah, they just pop him in at the end there too, like, oh, just so you remember.
I think where we're at as far as what we saw in Batman vs Superman, I think it may be a little early for Green Lantern because
I agree.
He's a human dude that's given alien power.
Right.
The only thing that we've even seen as far as aliens is Superman. So we don't really know necessarily about magic yet.
Yeah.
So I think
and also when the Green Lantern gets brought into it, a lot of other races of aliens start getting brought into everything. So and I feel like it will complicate stuff more for the normal person watching.
Right.
You know what I mean? Comic people may love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the normal person that's just going to go out and watch a movie because it's actiony may not get it, and it may, you know, obviously they're trying to sell tickets.
True.
So
if they're doing what everyone feels like they're doing in Justice League, like if they are introducing Darkseid as soon as they are, maybe it's either someone who works for Darkseid or whatever. But either way, Darkseid, he's been a godlike figure on his own planet for so long. So he is an alien coming to Earth for some reason. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Probably because Superman did something.
Right.
It's usually Superman's fault.
It's usually Superman's fault. Like, as much as you have a protector, he is the reason why you're getting attacked by half these things.
Yeah.
But that's everything.
I don't think Darkseid's coming to Earth just to whoop Batman's ass.
Yeah.
I doubt he cared too much about that. But the reason I mentioned that, like, Darkseid's technically an alien is that maybe that makes room for Green Lanterns to investigate into Earth. So, like, I could see them doing that. Probably would make more sense story-wise.
Yeah.
So, like, that way we don't have to have Green Lantern yet, but we may have him later. So.
Right, and he's a cool character, and there's still plenty of characters they could introduce with him.
Yeah.
Too. So it's not like they have to rush. Really, and like I just said, they're trying to make as much money as they can. So they knew the Ryan Reynolds one was a bust.
Yeah,
and
I don't think CGI, just do armor.
Yeah, I get someone that's ripped and can wear the costume. That's all. I mean, and Ryan Reynolds is ripped, so why wouldn't you just let him wear the costume? But it is what it is, and he shouldn't have played anyone else but Deadpool, anyways.
Yeah.
He was a good Deadpool, and we should just take that as it is.
Before we go into Deadpool a little further, that is something that I did really like about Wonder Woman. And I know she wore the costume in Batman vs Superman, but her costume is really well designed because it doesn't look out of place, especially with where she's from.
Right, and they took the original costume and made it logical as armor and stuff like that.
It's a gladiator's like leather chest piece, and it's got the leather skirt like tassels. Yeah.
And a lot of people always say, why are people wearing so little armor? A lot of times back in the day when there was actual battles, people wore little armor for mobility, more opposed to actual being a tank.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're a huge person, you're going to wear a lot of armor because it doesn't bother you, and you're not fast anyways.
Well, Ares wasn't that big of a dude, but he did wear huge armor.
Which was weird because I did not picture that guy being the guy under the suit of the armor.
We won't say which guy, but Ares may not be who you think it is by the time he shows up in the movie. Yeah,
it does like a nice little,
kind of a twist.
Yeah, a little surprise for you. But, I agree. They did a really good job on her costume and still keeping her looking badass and mad sexy at the same time.
Yeah.
So they paid a lot of attention to that. And
what'd you think of Chris Pine's role in the movie?
I thought it was a good role. He played like the classic World War I American.
Yeah, American hero.
Yeah, he was the classic World War, and he's a pilot too, so you could definitely see that like that moxie in him.
Yeah.
How he's like a pilot, he wants to get stuff done. Definitely American. You know what I mean? Like everything, all of his action was really American.
Before I even saw the movie, I was actually kind of worried that Chris Pine was going to be the damsel in distress in this movie, and he actually
held his own. Yeah, and
within his own regard. Like he plays an American spy that works for British intelligence. Like he's trained in not just piloting, but like it seems like anything involved.
Yeah, he seems to be a well-rounded soldier altogether, and he is a captain. So that shows that he has some type of rank.
Yeah.
So he's well trained. He backs Wonder Woman up into everything she goes into, which might be blind infatuation, but also he wants to do good.
He is still protective of her though.
Yeah,
like he did not want her to go. He did not want her to get involved in anything besides what the main mission was. Which was to stop the German leaders from furthering the war when basically the German
peace was about to happen.
Like
anyway.
they were trying to do the
treaty.
armistice, and they were trying to sign the peace treaty, whereas the German generals had different plans.
Right.
So like they were trying to stifle that so that peace could happen, and he just he was with her as long as he knew she was able to do it, but he still feared for her because she was doing stuff that no one could predict that she could do.
Right. And every time she did something, it pretty much surprised everyone that was around her.
Anytime she showed how good she was, he was like, okay, yeah, this is easily capable for you to do.
Yeah. But he still kind of does the protective male role, which it's funny with her being, superpowers. Like, the first time the guy with the gun shows up, he puts her back, and she fucking blocks a bullet for him, which surprises him, and he's like, okay, I guess you got it, and he just kind of stands there.
He steps aside, and she just kicks all the dudes' asses in the alley.
Yeah, he just kind of hangs out and watches, and I love her trying on different clothes, but trying fighting moves in the clothes and ripping stuff and everything. It was.
He's trying to get her some normal streetwear because
mind you, it's World War I. So
it's World War I.
Dresses.
So he can't have her walking around in the Wonder Woman outfit in the middle of London,
which is incredibly revealing. And she tries to pop the coat off a couple times. They're like, you can't do that because you're basically butt naked here. But I thought it was pretty cool. I liked how it showed her training background, and it showed how how she got trained 5 times harder than any Amazon.
Well, 10 times harder.
10 times harder. Sorry, yeah, 10 times harder than any Amazon. And
the Amazons themselves were impressive.
Extremely impressive. Yeah, they
not just strength. It was like skill. Like all of them had a specific fighting style that they wanted to use. It seemed like all of them were archery trained and were pinpoint with it. And
all on horseback riding and everything. They showed them all riding horses and stuff. And they I just had something, but I lost it.
Oh well.
Yeah. But they were incredibly impressive. They could all fight. It was like really like believable too. Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
The wires. They had some wire moves, but they weren't ridiculous. You know what I mean? They kept them within a realm. They're extended a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they kept it within a realm of, okay, this bitch isn't just floating across the room.
She's moving the way you would expect her to.
Right.
Even though she has superpowers. She's not, like, stretched out or anything, like, crazy.
Right, yeah. They had wire moves, but it wasn't ridiculous. The guy, as it was done as a whole, they thought about a lot. And I felt like they had to, because I'm sure they got an earful about other stuff.
Yeah.
So, but... yeah, I mean, all around, I'm looking forward to Justice League, definitely, and I definitely feel like DC's going in a good way now.
I would probably give Wonder Woman, I want to say a 9, but
there'll be some people that
I would say it'd be
so
like a 8.7, like it's almost a 9, but little things, that's all.
Not very many complaints about it, though, all around.
Yeah.
I'm sure as I dwell on it a little bit more, there'll be a couple
like
more things
if I had to rank Batman versus Superman, I'd say that one was probably a high 6. So take that as you would.
Yeah. Well, as I kept falling asleep during Batman versus Superman, and I don't think I could ever fall asleep during Wonder Woman.
No, unless you're gonna fall asleep in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I definitely feel like it was definitely a good step forward.
Yeah, solid movie.
Yeah, and as we were going, I almost went into the Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I have tried out the Deadpool video game, and I know it's been out for a little bit and everything, but it's basically a Deadpool game. It's cool. It's got the normal old mechanics of X, X, Y, 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 X, X, Y, 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 which is fun, and especially I find it more fun in games like Batman, like the Batman series, where you're getting the close-ups of you knocking the fuck out of people and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's always entertaining. But it's Deadpool. It's fun because you get to hear him say shit.
It's got some extra sugar on top with the Deadpool lines.
Yeah, that was my favorite bullet. Can I have it back? Stuff like that. Like, it's always entertaining when Deadpool starts talking. He's the merc with the mouth.
Yeah.
And as I was going, I don't think they could have cast anyone better than Ryan Reynolds for that. And I'm glad, and I hope they don't change any more heroes. I'm sick of heroes playing other heroes. All right, you have Human Torch playing Captain America. All right, at least keep it in different fucking worlds.
Captain America.
He's a way better Captain America than he was a Human Torch.
Yeah.
Human Torch, I can understand. He was Johnny Blaze or whatever. He was like the cocky kid. You know what I mean? Captain America, he's way more good guy, way too good for himself. Like he's just. It's always annoyed me how good Captain America is.
Well. That's why we get a Canadian to play him.
That's funny, yeah. But I definitely, think he did a way better Captain America than Human Torch. That Fantastic Four that they just did, not the biggest fan of that.
I didn't even watch that.
Yeah, not the biggest fan of that. I mean,
I knew that was bad as soon as I saw trailers. I was like, why are they trying to do a gritty Fantastic Four?
Dude, it was the stupidest build-up, and like they could have done more with it, and they didn't. And Doctor Doom, everyone knows how Doctor Doom shows up. You know what I mean? And like they made it like this weird fight on another realm, and I don't know. It could have been better. But also, Fantastic Four. It has its cheesy moments anyways in the comic and anyways.
Yeah, I never really took that as a more
it was always
serious kind of character line. Like
Yeah, they're all like extremely good guys, and then they have like the cheesy it's clobbering time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
it almost seems like they're like the lamer version of the X-Men.
Right. Well, like where X-Men and everything through time has just became more violent. I didn't keep up on Fantastic Four, so if I'm wrong, forgive me that they became more violent or whatever. But I don't see it because Mr. Elastic, you can't do much more violence besides just choke someone out.
I think at this point in time, like I don't see the relevance of Fantastic Four, whereas like I see the relevance way more with X-Men.
Yeah.
Because like that's always been about persecution and minorities. And
right. Yeah, it's always been that battle between mutants.
Like
and
it was
humans
inspired by the civil rights, so
right.
like I totally get it, and it's gonna have relevance until like prejudices disappear, which
will never happen.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah, which will never happen. I mean,
people get along really well, but hey, there's always gonna be stupid people that hate for no reason.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I mean, there's always someone to fuck it up for all the good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter what you do.
I think X-Men, like, they dive into that plenty of times. Yeah. Like, they'll have, like, peace declared, and then the next issue, well, peace was ruined because one person did something.
Yeah. And I always talk about the humanizing thing. They make it, even though it's, like, these fucked up, weird-looking mutants, they're humans, technically, you know what I mean?
Humans.
And
well,
like,
they're, like... They're next
actually,
humans.
Yeah, they're actually the evolutionary chain.
But that doesn't
up,
change the way
that
their personality is. Like everything is human about them except genetically.
It addresses the same thing as like I would getting picked on for being fat. It basically the same thing. Like it addresses that, but you're talking about Nightcrawler and shit like that, which would be a little bit more shocking than a fat person walking in a room. Especially in America where we are now. But I feel like we were saying, a Fantastic Four, unless they do an amazing reboot, which I don't suggest, there's no reason to fuck with it anymore.
No.
You know what I mean?
Either let Marvel play with it again.
Yeah.
Fox. Is it Fox or is it Sony? I can't remember.
I can't remember. They keep taking.
Either way,
they break everything apart. And it's just,
they're basically just making movies with Fantastic Four just so they can make more movies with Fantastic Four.
Right.
And I think if you want anyone to even care about Fantastic Four at this point, you gotta give it back to Disney or like whoever.
Right. Someone that can actually
let
do
them
something with it. Yeah.
do something relevant with it, as opposed to just rehashing over and over. But enough about that. Me and Shawn have also been looking into more stuff going on with E3 since it's been going on all weekend. Yeah. They did finally announce what Xbox Scorpio was going to be called, which is the Xbox One X. And
it seems a little redundant, right? I mean, I know a lot of podcasts, and everyone's probably already said Xbox One X is not the best name they could came up with.
Yeah, especially since every time I'm about to say it, I have to think about it and not say S.
It sounds like I'm saying
X and
stutter.
S are right
it's
there.
It's the same thing. Yeah, and your mouth moves exactly the same for both letters.
Yeah. So that I don't know if it was the smartest choice. Also,
especially when you have a lead-up name like Scorpio, which is badass.
Scorpio sounded a lot cooler.
Yeah, and they got a name leading up like that, and then they're like X. Like, okay, we get it, but it does seem to be a badass Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
not something I'm going to be getting this year.
No, not this year. No,
maybe next year.
Yeah.
They'll have to get a 4K TV, so I'm not with it just yet.
Right. That's the problem is they upgrade everything, then you have to upgrade everything with it too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just cost the Xbox, it costs everything else too.
Xbox, TV. Probably going to have to get better internet just to run it.
Right.
So.
Right. And I mean, we're going to try to keep you up on date on as much stuff as we can, but we don't have that much money all the time. So we might review other people playing it, like our friends that have money.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. You'll catch that sometime in 2018 probably.
Yeah, but I think it's a cool concept. You know, they got the 4K now, and it's liquid vapor cooled or whatever.
Yeah, liquid vapor.
That's pretty nifty. Fucking liquid metal.
Yeah.
turns into knives and other turns into knives and other stabbing weapons, mostly knives.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that seems cool. They talked some the other day when we did our first episode about Battlefield. Now we play a lot of Battlefield.
Yep.
So we don't like talking that much about it because we could literally talk about Battlefield all day.
We could
probably.
talk about it all day and complain left and right. But
right.
We did see that they announced that the 2 new maps that they've been working on that they're supposed to give out for free?
Question mark. We don't know.
I mean, we both own premium. Because
which I had to get talked into. Because I wasn't really willing to do it, and then now I realize they're going to give all the maps away, and Jeff's like, "Oh no,
we still get the weapons.
The weapons
so
are worth
fine.
it, even though I don't use any of the weapons that I've unlocked."
Well, that's your choice.
But that is my choice, and I choose to do it.
but yeah, like I said, those 2 maps that they were working on that are free in quotation marks. It's Nibble Knights and I'm gonna ruin this pronunciation. Tash de Maher, I think is what it's called.
Who?
I don't even know if that's what it's called. Trust me, once I've played it enough times, I'll definitely be able to say the name. But yeah, that's the first one. Nibble Knights, that's coming out in June. The next one, which I'm not going to say again because I know I ruined it, is going to be in July, and then in August. They have a big update, their August update, which means they're probably going to mess with all kinds of the weapons, change all kinds of stats around.
Yeah, ruin every gun that's good and make every gun that's trash.
Hopefully. I can only hope that they ruin the guns that people use every day.
Well, if they could ruin the Hellregal a little bit more than they did last time, that would be nice because it is an annoying-ass gun to deal with still.
Yeah.
And actually, we were playing the other night.
It's probably not even anything wrong with the gun, but the fact that everyone uses it.
Right. And
that's
does,
the problem.
It does have an incredibly fast fire rate. It does suck its slow reload, but it shoots sometimes at incredibly long distances that annoy the living hell out of me.
Maybe reel in its range a little bit.
Right. And it's basically like a Tommy gun style gun, which a Tommy gun basically shot like 9mm bullets. It didn't have much range. Now it had a lot of fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they should probably do the same concept with this gun.
Yeah.
But who knows? They'll probably have worse guns out soon.
That or they'll make something better. I mean, you always have to consider that. Usually when they knock something down, something always rises to the top. So no
matter what, people are going to exploit as much as they can in video games.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes regardless. There's always going to be that camper using a Hellregal in the corner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
even if it's bad, they'll still use it because it took them 10 levels to get to.
Yeah, like Clever Dragon, dude. When they nerfed that, I still saw mad people using it, and I think it was just they were so used
to it that they couldn't use anything else.
Which I used Clever Dragon. I loved it, and then they nerfed it, and I had to move on. But I'm more of an iron sight shooter.
Yeah.
So like in every game I play, I shoot iron sights. Now, I had a problem with Destiny because they have a lot of futuristic scopes and stuff that go on the guns, which it doesn't feel natural to me.
Even their iron sights are still technically lenses.
Right, exactly. So that took a lot of getting used to for me. And then we started playing Battlefield 1, and I was just like, oh, this clicks. You know what I mean? It's iron sights all the time. Unless you use a scope and shit, which is annoying too. And snipers. Stop sniping. Can we just come down and play the game with us? We're having a good time. You guys have a good time too.
Well, they gotta keep their KD up, so they're gonna stay up on their hill.
I know it kills me, and I will keep sneaking up on you, and our friend Brandon will keep killing you with his gas mask.
Yeah. Speaking of Brandon, you guys may hear from him at some point. We're still deciding on if he's willing to take a day off or not. So.
Right, he's a little involved in work, and originally in our discussions he was going to join us, and it was going to be a 3-person podcast. But he gave us basically the go-ahead, even though we were going to do it without him, to start the show without him. So this is our second episode, so we're kind of just, knocking out the glitches and everything. And plus, he's going to start his own streaming thing, so there'll probably be times where we just kind of check in with him and talk a little bit about games in general, because he plays way different games than we do, too.
Yeah.
So he likes a lot more give all your time to this game kind of games.
Yeah.
Which I'm not. I don't. I have a 3-year-old kid and a full-time job, which he has a full-time job too. But I just can't give that much time to video games, even though I do love all types of video games and play them more than I should.
But if Brandon gets any more involvement, or if we have any more information for you, we'll share it. But until then, it's just me and Shawn.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoy what we're talking about so far. I mean, basically, we just jabber on about stuff we enjoy, which we know other people enjoy too.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll give you some insight that you didn't think about, or just talk about stuff you enjoy. So,
all right.
Yeah. So this has been number 2.
Yep.
And
Numero dos.
yeah, we'll hit you back on the flip side.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.